Ahoy there, captains. Irish Viking here again. Today I want to talk about naval enduring confrontation. I will talk about how it plays right now, and will show some tricks and exploits that players use. My goal is simple. I want to give you guys a clear picture of Naval EC, and I want to share honest observations and ideas to make it more fun, fair and strategic. I will also look at what could improve after update 9.0 and beyond. Everything I say comes from experience and my time playing EC. I have played in organised teams and long events. I have listened to many other captains and crews. So, captains, let's get into it. Naval EC is War Thunder's long format naval mode. It is not a quick naval RB/AB cap game that you will find easily under the main battle tab in the hangar. Matches can last an hour or more. Teams fight over a big part of the ocean. There are ports, convoys, AI fleets and air targets. Tickets go up to around 15,000. You win by pushing tickets, not just by a few quick kills. Captains start with lower BR ships, coastal craft and simple aircraft. You earn silver lions and spawn points over time. Once your spawn points have added up, you can then unlock heavier ships and better planes during the match. The idea is to build a task force with your teammates, step by step. It's a mode where you are not supposed to throw in one or two big battleships and leave to the hangar after a short round type of way. At least from my point of view. On paper, the game mode is a naval campaign, and done right, it feels like a rolling naval battle, not a random match. In our digital reality, EC does not crash or burn from one big bug. In its current form, it works. There are a few snags though. However, it boils down to many small, niggly issues with how the mode is written, with exploits and player behaviour manipulation that ultimately plays a big part in the game and how it flows. I'm sure that you can agree that one or two of you watching can say yes in the comments. I've seen this myself. It's certainly been a reoccurring topic of issue amongst my group of friends I play with. Convoy spawns for coastal ships are very close to the convoy, where the real action is. There is no real time alive per vessel scoring on rewards, so some players do the same tricks repeatedly. Players will spawn a PT boat or a fast-firing frigate on the CB spawn at the convoy. They rush in, spam fire torpedoes, rockets or missile. Then they initially J out of the ship or get hit. They respawn and repeat this many times. At the end, they have many deaths and almost no kills. Yet, they still have enough spawn points for a battleship. I've seen this. I've also taken part in it. The system rewards this behaviour, so players use it. In my humble opinion, coastal boats should fight near ports, rivers, and shorelines. In EC, they often turn into single-use torpedo rapid-firing disposable canisters people are accustomed to abuse. Literally spawning almost on top of the convoy, sprint in, fire, die, or J out. You spawn again and do the same thing. There is no real plan to stay alive. It is just a short-range delivery of explosives. Captains, I'm sure a lot of you have sometimes seen a convoy getting stuck on the map. It may bug out or move across the map slowly. Of course, badly. or even beat itself. When this happens, the convoy stops being a moving target. It becomes an SP farm, a forward posting spawn for a port attack. It can determine the whole match. Exploits aside, spawn points build up quickly for stronger players. Heavy ships are not expensive enough in spawn points, so one team rushes out battle cruisers or battleships early. The other team is still in destroyers and light cruisers. If you join late, you often spawn into a wall of big guns. You feel like fish food on the way to the front. Naval EC is supposed to build up to capital ships slowly. Right now, it feels like a race to the biggest BB. The winner is often the team that abuses the early SP exploit the hardest. Did you know that naval mines exist in Naval EC? Some ships carry them, but they do not stay in the water for long. In EC, a minefield lasts for minutes, not for the whole match. Many people say around 15 minutes. I'm saying 30, give or take. In long EC matches, this is nothing. I have laid hundreds of mines, and I've only seen a few kills in many years. It feels like a rare fluke, not a real tactic. So mines become fireworks. They look nice, and then they vanish. They do not shape the battle in any lasting way. Not in like real world terms where landmines and sea mines are very strategic tools to either defend or, in some case, on the offensive, to perhaps cover your tracks. If captains like you and me want EC to feel like a proper naval enduring confrontation mode, we must talk about fixing the basics. We must fix spawns, spawn points, and convoy rules. Spawns should match the job of your vessel. What I mean by this is as follows. Coastal boats should spawn near ports, shore guns, and rivers. They are ideal for harbour defence and coastal raids. Frigates, subchasers, and future minesweepers, or anti-sub warfare craft, and escorts should spawn with a convoy and at the ports when required. They are the natural screen against torpedo boats, mines, and subs. Heavy blue water ships should spawn far from the front lines. Battleships, battle cruisers, and heavy cruisers should enter on the outer edges of the map. Destroyers and light cruisers should spawn mid-range, and, where it makes sense, at the rear or the front of the convoys perhaps. You still bring them in, but you must sail into battle. This way, you shouldn't spawn on top of the convoy with a dirty great big capital ship. We could also limit how many heavy ships each team can spawn at any one time. Could we limit the number of BBs and BCs? Limit the top tier cruisers and leave more room for destroyers and escorts? Then teams might look and feel like proper fleets. Not 12 massive, thundering museum pieces parked side by side, blasting hell out of each other. With the suggestions in mind, we can think and visualize this as vessels in the right place at the right time, defending the correct objective, with larger ships coming in from behind. So, in effect, if defeat and sink the convoy, then you have the advantage because you've truly earned it. Now you can go and attack that port that's close by. But you've got to consider that there's still DDs and light cruisers around. You've got a couple of battleships closing in on your position. Makes the game a little bit more interesting if you add these extra elements and simple rules. which places me in the position to talk about the second fix. And this is about J-out abuse. Right now, the system cares only that you were in a match and did damage. It does not really care how long you stayed in that vessel or aircraft for. We really need a time active check for each ship life. If you leave your ship before a short time limit, you get reduced rewards. For example, less RP, less SL, and maybe a short cooldown. If you fight a full life, you get rewarded as normal. If you treat your ship as a disposable casing, the game stops paying you well. Convoy spawns should also have limits. Each player should only get a small number of direct convoy spawns. For example, 2 per convoy. After that, you should spawn from further back. This keeps the front line hot. However, it stops infinite suicide runs 5 kilometers from the objective. Convoys also need a clear lifetime timer. While a convoy is active, the side that should attack it must actively destroy it. If the attacking team ignores it, they risk losing tickets over time. And if the timer runs out with no result, the game resolves the objective. Tickets change hand and the game clears for the next convoy or port attack. And half a cherry on top, no more holding the whole match hostage with one stock convoy. To make EC feel like a real battle, with often unseen hazards, the sea itself must be dangerous. Sea mines should be an integral part of helping to draw how the battle map looks, as they do in real-world terms. Mines are as important as torpedoes or capital ships, and play an important part of any battlefield. We can have fixed mine belts on key routes. These belts would show that the tactical map is a danger zone. Both teams would know the mine belts are there. They would not vanish after 15 minutes. They would stay for the whole match until cleared. Player-laid mines should act like the terrain as well. Mine-laying ships should be able to rearm mines, but be capped on how many times they can reload. Give each team a limit on how many mine layers they can spawn. Mines should be active until the ship is J'd out, or they are swept or exploded. Make mines easier to clear with random damage, HE shells and bombs. Bad mine spamming will get cleaned up. Good mine belts in narrow channels will matter. Then give the escorts a mine-sweeping role. Frigates and dedicated minesweepers could slow down and clear a path for the convoy or larger ships to pass through. Over time, they carve safe corridors through the belts, while the rest of the ships battle it out to cover and sweep. There is not a navy in the world that I know of that do not have support ships. It's an idea I've often spoken with fellow captains about. By adding a few support ships in mid-ocean, perhaps some of the barge vessels in the tech tree that could be remodeled to fulfill this concept. These would be repair and rearm at different points, but not spawn points. They would have their own spawns. Now, escorts and service vessels are not just extra guns. They are a resource and guides through hostile water that need covering and safeguarding, adding another element of what could be. The carrier in Naval EC has its own problems. Many players treat it as a free kill, but the game has rules around it. The carrier only becomes a proper objective when it is spotted at close range. That's the first part of the mission. You need to get within roughly 4.5 kilometers to legitimately spot it. It appears then in the objective list on the map page as the objective to destroy the carrier. If you kill it before that, the kill does not count, as it is a 2-part mission. You will lose the ticket swing and the reward. This also sometimes causes a ticket bleed for your side. On top of that, in EC, the carrier is not a reliable airbase. You cannot land and rearm there, so planes still have to use land airfields. The carriers become a slow AI target at the back of the map. It is not a living part of your team's logistic. Naval EC was always meant to be as a combined arms operation. Captains and pilots share the same long battle space. Planes scout convoys and ports. They strike fleets and coastal targets. Fighters fly over key areas. Looking ahead, Gaijins say playable submarines are planned. If convoys, escorts and mines get fixed, subs will fit right in. Convoy routes become hunting grounds, mine belts, and anti-submarine warfare escorts become the tool to protect them. Aircraft and patrol boats join in as sub-hunters. We already have guided missile ships and Fox 3 air weapon systems in the game. With long-range missiles, messy spawns will break matches completely. With good spawns and clear objectives, missiles become just one more layer. The last problem is not inside the game mode. It is on the main menu. Naval EC now lives in the Events and Tournaments tab. You can also find it under the Sim tab. It rotates between AB style and RB style modes. It only runs from Thursday through to Monday. Sometimes it vanishes when other events run. The queue screen is almost empty. You see a small spinning icon and not much else. Many players are not even sure they are in a queue. You also see long waits for some matches. Some players report 30 to 60 minutes waiting with no joinable games. With that setup, EC feels like a rare old mode. It does not feel like the main way to play Naval. If we want EC to carry all these ideas, it must be visible. It needs a permanent button on the main Naval screen. It should have a separate queue for random teams and organised squadrons or alliances. Team sizes should be high enough to feel like a fleet battle. Games should backfill new players sensibly. EC should also reward players and count towards RP and rewards like any other main mode for tasks and progress. Players playing EC will not feel like they are stepping outside the real game and wider community. I did not make this video because I hate Naval EC. I made it because I love it. I've spent a lot of time playing on EC. I have seen the same cracks open up again and again. I believe there is a better vision of this mode under the surface. Convoys that move and matter without being farmed. Spawns that match roles instead of chaos. Mines and escorts that change how you sail. Pilot boats and subs that slot into a proper triangle. All of that is possible with the tools the game already has. Maybe we never get the full package. Maybe we get small pieces. Longer lived mines, better convoy rules, clearer spawn point logic. Even that would help a lot. If you agree with some of this, please do drop a comment, share your own ideas and experiences within EC. If you want the full written article and the old EC guides, check the link below. Thanks for watching. Good luck out there, captains, and fair seas.